We have our data, we have our collection view, we have our collection view cell. None of them know about each other yet because we're missing the linchpin, which is the data source. In iOS, this is known as a UI collection view source, and of course the collection view won't work without it. So let's right-click our project. Let's add a new file. Let's check in iOS and see if we have a collection view source. And I can't see one, so we don't. Let's create a general class then, and call this custom collection source. Let's add in a couple using statements. UI kit, using foundation, and using core graphics, but I'm not sure we actually need that one. Actually, you might need it if you're going to create a custom view for headers and things like that. Right, so this has to inherit from UI collection view collection view source, not data source, just source. So be careful with that distinction. Then we need somewhere to hold our data. So this is going to be a public list of strings. We will call this rows, and we will give it a getter and a setter. Whoops, that's gone wrong. Rows, there we go. Let's right-click list and resolve that one. And we have our rows ready to go. Now inside of the constructor, we're going to pass over a list of strings, which I'll call underscore rows. And let's make rows equal to underscore rows. Now the collection view source supports sections just like the list view. And in this tutorial, I'm not actually going to cover the sections in the collection view because we've already done it in the list views, and it's an extremely similar pattern, so I'm sure that you could figure it out for yourselves if you need to. Just go back to the list view and transport across some of the methods. Let's talk about the various things, the various methods that we need to implement for this collection source. The first one is number of sections. So override number of sections. And we just want to return one section for our example. Then what else do we need? We need another override, and we need to get the items count. So we're going to return the rows dot count. So we know how many cells we're going to need in the future. Then we're going to look at another little nicety, which is override should highlight item. And this is if I select the item, should iOS highlight it or not? So you have two options, return true or false. Let's return true. Then it's up to you. You can have a method called item highlighted that allows you to do something when the item is highlighted, and this could be something graphical if you wish. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. Let's have override item highlighted, and then we're going to grab the cell that we currently have. So var cell is equal to our custom collection view cell. We have to cast this collection view dot cell for item, and then give it an index path. And now we have the cell that's just been highlighted. Then we can say cell.mainLabel.alpha is equal to, let's have 0.5f. So this will make the main label slightly see-through whenever the item is highlighted. Contrary to that, that highlighting won't go away, so it'll stay as a pale, almost see-through highlighting. We need to have the corollary method, which is item unhighlighted. Then I'm just going to copy in this code into item unhighlighted, and I'm going to change my alpha back to 1, which is the opaque default state. So now we have a way to see that we've actually highlighted something. One method remains, and that is to get the cell. So get cell. Var cell is equal to our custom cell, and then we grab our collection view dot, and this is similar again to the list view. We want to dequeue a reusable cell, and it asks us for an identifier, and if you recall, we stored this inside our custom collection view cell. So custom collection view cell dot, and what did we call it? Cell ID. That was it. Then we need one more argument for this, and that is the index path, and that's already been passed in for us. Right, so we have our custom cell queued up, ready to go. All we have to do is populate it with some data. Cell.updateCell, which is the method we created. Let's pull out our bit of data from rows by indexPath.row. Close off our brackets, and finally return the cell. Okay, so now we have our custom collection source completed. We've got number of sections, number of items, what we do when we highlight or unhighlight items, and finally we have the cell, which is instantiated from our custom collection view cell.